Welcome to the Alphagenix podcast, where every week we talk to incredible individuals from the world of health, well-being, longevity, biohacking, and of course, men's health. And today, I'm delighted to be welcomed on the podcast with Dr. Robert Kiltz, all the way from over the Atlantic in the US. Welcome.
Thank you, Ross. Really appreciate you inviting me to be on and sharing my thoughts and ideas. I'm inspired by what you are doing, and keep at it.
Thank you very much. We've just briefly chatted before we hit record, but you first popped up on my screen last year on Instagram, and were passionately extolling the virtues of a carnivore diet, and it really kind of resonated with me. So it'd be cool to talk about that, but I know you're so much more than that, and I love the fact that you talk about spirituality and this holistic approach to medicine. And I think your real passion is in fertility, and you have 8 clinics over in the US as well. So I guess, how did you get started? Who are you? Where did you come from?
Another human being created by the gods, just like everyone else. And let's see, I grew up in Los Angeles, and let's see, I was ADHD, OCD, dyslexic. I had plenty of history of migraines as a child. No one knew why. And I was drugged already as a child at the time with Excedrin and coffee to help relieve my problems. Let's see, I was kicked out of school in a gang, my father in jail. I couldn't read. And I learned from hardship. Hardship builds strong ships. And so stress and struggles are part of the strengthening of all of our lives. I went into medicine because I met a kind of hippie doctor at the time when I broke a leg at 19. I thought, wow, that looks interesting. Maybe I should be that. So I became a doctor. And it was struggling and challenges, but I'm a persistent, hardworking person. I started work at age 12, and probably even younger than that. I always loved to work at home, fixing things and cleaning things and all that. I became after a year of internal medicine, I went to OBGYN, and then I went into fertility. And making babies is kind of what I do. Helping people that are suffering from miscarriages, infertility, endometriosis, fibroids, but what I tripped upon about 20 years ago was paleo diets. I said, what is this? Diets don't. What do you mean diets in medicine and fertility, right? Before that, I found meditation, prayer, visualization, yoga, and started really integrating a lot of mindfulness. Prior to that, maybe 25, 30 years now. But I jumped into the paleo diet and read about that and helping my patients get pregnant with paleo because they were doing it. I learned from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read about keto, learned about Marie Emmerich and so many other people talking about keto. And then I found carnivore. I was just watching a video of some guy, carnivore, didn't exercise. He was ripped. He ate only meat. And I'm like, okay. And I did it in 1 month. ADHD, OCD, depression, anxiety went away. Arthritis, psoriasis, kidney stones, migraines went away. Bowel bleeding, hemorrhoids went away. And I'm never turning back. I've been a carnivore for 13 years. Do I ever touch a non-carnivore food? Sure, from time to time. But the majority of the time, I'm a lion, like all of us. And I've been blogging and sharing this for some time. Actually, about 20 years ago, I started blogging about mindfulness. Probably 3 people have seen it, but that's the beauty. You start with one, and then it's exponential growth in life. And now I've built up CNY fertility centers. By the way, we see people from England, Australia, New Zealand, Africa, around the globe. We're the most affordable IVF center in the Americas, I think. But we integrate Eastern medicine, Western medicine, prayer, meditation, visualization, acupuncture. We do a lot of immunology, and we do a tremendous amount of nutrition, because changing what you put in your mind and your mouth is the way to change and influence your magical body.
Yeah, 100%. It
Yeah.
makes that environment, which is where we're capable of sustaining life, I guess.
Our environment is critical. And so the outside environment wants to get inside. So we have to be discerning of what we allow inside to our home, right? Into heaven within the mind and the body. And so you have to be very discerning. Previously I was a plant-based eater, and I said, oh, plants are great because that's what we tell everyone. And so plants, I mean, they're so friendly and nice, right? Heroin, cocaine, marijuana, cyanide, and nicotine comes from plants. Oh, wait a minute. Those are deadly for us. Maybe there are other things in plants that are deadly too. So maybe that's why we're all addicted to sugars, because they're highly addictive. And so, you know, this is all just magical stuff that we're learning and sharing. And COVID opened up the universe that we now all have these platforms, and we're all sharing in a community, realizing that you don't have to get in a plane, in a car, a boat, or travel the world to connect. We could connect instantly with every human being in the universe.
Yeah.
And everyone's wants to learn to be better, but they sometimes have to learn and listen to something that, oh, this is wrong. This doesn't make sense. You're wrong, Kiltz. Goodbye. And then it's like they run into some friends or someone that's doing carnivore, and they say they're looking amazing, and they're vibrant in their energy. It's like, oh, maybe I should try that, but I don't want to tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone for a long time I was carnivore. I talked about keto and paleo and fasting, and that was my most things, but it is a game changer for humanity.
It's interesting hearing you say that, because I'm thinking, well, I talk about paleo, mindfulness, meditation. I'm going, okay, maybe I'm going to try this.
Paleo's good. Keto's better. Carnivore's best.
Okay, I love that. And you mentioned a few things in there which I've got to get into. So you mentioned about plants, and a lot of plants are toxic. I guess two things come to mind. One, are any meats toxic out there? Are there any meats that we shouldn't eat? And two, in the plants, is it the phytic acids that don't want to be eaten, and that's what causes problems?
Well, plants are live organisms. They have more DNA. They've been around longer than us. So what organism, macro, micro, wants to be eaten? None. Okay. See, our brain thinks we're the highest organism of the universe, and we're smarter than everything else. Like, would you eat a black widow spider?
Well, probably not.
Probably not, right? Would you eat 100 bees? Right? Just take them live bees and eat them, right? So would you eat like a bucket full of gonorrhea or syphilis or E. coli, right? Would you eat just a glass full of microbes, right? Probiotics. These are good for you. Why don't you drink these microbes, see how good they are for you, right? Because all organisms want to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
So we must eat something that is or was alive in order to be alive. Everything has some adverse effects on us, but some things are more than others. And I know of no one that's had an anaphylactic reaction to ribeye steak from beef. No one. Now, poisonous, you can have something called protein poisoning and rabbit starvation. That's a whole nother conversation. But ultimately, people have anaphylactic reactions to seeds and nuts. And quite often, you may have been eating them all your life and then suddenly have an anaphylactic reaction. My partner, she was eating crab one day and she had an anaphylactic reaction. Blessed that she was able to call an ambulance and someone came and give her an EpiPen. Otherwise, she'd be dead.
Wow.
And so there are people that are allergic to some foods like shellfish and crabs and fish, but it's likely the microbes and the toxins the microbes make. So if you think about red tide and how the red tide will just kill everything in a pond or a lake or a bay. So ultimately, the simplicity of the answer is just so amazing. There's no allergies of any significance to fatty red meat.
Yeah.
Although it's the thing we're told, oh, that causes cancer. Well, I'm just wondering if the masters want to prevent you from being the master by eating meat. So if I convince you to eat plants, highly addictive, toxic, they're domesticating, and they make you easily controllable. A prisoner, a slave, a peasant, or a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these things are like, well, Dr. Kiltz, plenty of people live a long time on a plant-based diet. That's true. I didn't say long time or a short time. But if you're suffering and sick and you want to change it up, you eat fatty meat and minimize the plants and or eliminate them of any significance or frequency, because the 5 causes of all disease, and the cause of all disease is inflammation.
Yeah.
The leading cause of disease is plant sugars. Okay? Plant sugars. And remember, sugars from a plant or carbohydrate are never required in the human diet, ever. Okay? We love them.
Mm-hmm.
They make us feel good. They taste good. Well, so does heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, and caffeine, right? Are they good for us? No. So plant sugars, number 1, they glycate. Number 2 are plant chemicals, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, caffeine, just a smidgen of the probably thousands of chemicals that you and I don't even know exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
To control, confuse, and kill you. Plants make that. Antigens, lectins, oxalates, phytates, latex, gluten. Ever heard of those things?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are common allergens, right? An allergen causes inflammation. Inflammation is the cause of disease. Heat, redness, swelling, pain, dysfunction, failure of a cell, an organ, or the organism. And an interesting one is fermentation in the gut of the sugars from the plants
Okay.
via the microbes that live there, right? So plants come with microbes, or you're taking a probiotic, which adds more microbes to your gut, that loves sugars, plant sugars, and fiber, which makes alcohol, heat, gas, methane, aldehydes, which are highly adverse to our body and our minds. So your children are making alcohol in their bowels because they're on a high plant-based diet. They're bloating, they got headaches, dyslexia, ADHD, OCD, autism. Plant-based low animal fat diet is the cause. And again, I'm giving you my opinion.
Yeah. If
you're waiting for the science to prove it before you're going to try carnivore, you're missing out on the magic. And the 5th leading cause of disease is excessive exercise.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Think about it. You have a Ferrari, and you're going to loan it to your friend to take it to the racetrack every day. Or you're going to take it to and from work in a nice, slow, and easy pace. Which one's going to last longer?
Yeah, if you put it like that, makes sense.
We are just another mechanical organism. Things move, there's friction, heat, and damage. Along with the plants, which add to the damage. This is the most amazing concept. But what do we tell people? Oh, you should exercise. You should, do cardio work, and you should really do a lot of exercise. It's so good for you. Name an animal that purposely burns its calories in order to be healthier.
Yeah, thinking of that lion now you mentioned earlier that just sits and waits all day and then has a brief sprint,
yes,
catches its prey and goes back to sleep.
We are lions. We are not pigs, cows, and sheep. We came out of the trees not to eat the grass, but to eat the grass eaters.
Mm-hmm.
We are amazing hunters like wolves and lions. We know how to make the tools and to plan the hunt. And we can walk for days and weeks. We don't have to run down anything.
Mm-hmm.
We make spears and clubs, and we know how to make a trap. So ultimately, we know how to get to the animal, which provides the most nutrient-rich food, every mineral and vitamin, every essential amino acid and fatty acid comes from that animal. Remember, there are no essential carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
Glucose is not the energy for your mitochondria. Glucose must be converted to fat in the liver via insulin, or you die. Liver failure and type 1 diabetics cannot make fat. And so if you're anorexic, you cannot live long. You don't have much energy. You will drop dead of a cardiac arrest or some other sudden damage that people go, gee, we don't know why they died. Because fatty acids are the only fuel for the mitochondria, acetyl-CoA. This idea that glucose is your energy, for your fast energy, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And this has been kind of drilled into us, hasn't it, over the last few years. You know, you've got to have these regular snacks between meals, you've got to keep your energy up, you need these calories in all the time to perform. And yet, if you go back to like our grandparents, they had 3 square meals a day, you know, it wasn't all this high sugar diet, and they had less diabetes, less chronic illness, no autism, no ADHD. We're supposed to be the most technologically advanced we've ever been on the planet, and we are the unhealthiest.
We're highly domesticated animals. We will stand in line for pizza, pasta, beer, heroin, cocaine, marijuana. Now they're telling us all that marijuana is good for us, and psilocybin and ayahuasca, and they're telling pregnant lactating women that red wine's okay.
Wow.
American College of OBGYN, in a recent journal article last year, suggested that a plant-based, low animal fat diet, no red meat, and red wine was okay. That's our experts.
These are the same experts, though, that told us that, you know, all great doctors smoked Marlboros like 100 years ago.
And drinking a glass of wine a day is okay. It is not okay. And of course, you're right. I mean, see, the mission of medicine is money, not making mommies or men.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're doing is sharing with men ways to be a man, meaning be a lion. We are that, right? You don't have to hurt anyone. You have to help everyone. That's really the key here. But the number one person to help is yourself. You want to get yourself out of the pig's pen, the sheep's den, whatever they call it for the sheep. But ultimately, you're a lion. We were, again, for the first 3.5 million years, we were hunting animals. Mm-hmm. We were not grazing on the grass. We were not eating fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, or honey of any significance or frequency. We are meat eaters. We ate the brain, probably ate the testicles, the uterus, the ovaries, the organ meats, and the fat. See, have you ever noticed that butter, fat never molds, or rarely ever molds? It's because fat is anti-inflammatory. You see, when they say that fat people are highly inflamed, well, they are because they eat plants, not the fat on their body. If there's a famine, you do not want to be skinny. Mm-hmm. We're genetically predisposed to get fat. That's normal. That's the best genes ever created in the universe. Yeah. But you've been brainwashed to be a sheep, a cow, a pig, which you are not. You are a lion. Your testosterone levels and estrogen levels are depleted by plant-based damage to your ovaries and testicles. Fibrosis, sclerosis, testicular failure, testicular cancers are rampant these days. And everyone's wondering, well, why? Must be something they're putting in the food. It's not. The plants know how to kill you. They're going to do everything to do that. They are live organisms with magical energy and vibration, and they communicate with the other plants around the globe. Remember this. And again, testosterone supplementation, there's nothing wrong with it. If you can heal your own testes to start producing better testosterone again, that's where you want to start, right? That's why bacon, eggs, butter, beef, and salt in one meal a day is the very, very best way. Organ meats, eat them, right? Mm-hmm. You don't need all the supplements in the drugs unless you're damaged. And so if we can teach people natural first, and listen, I'm in standard medicine. I supplement with estrogens, testosterones for those that need it in the reproductive side. And it helps. But what you want to do is help get yourself healthy and healing in a way that is radical. Carnivore is radical. But would you rather be a lion or a pig, cow, or sheep?
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. And in keeping with what we talk about as well, which is, you know, pharmaceuticals can be incredible. It can be transformational, but you've got to be making good lifestyle choices. You've got to be putting the right fuel in your Ferrari. You know, and that is everything from what goes into the mind, what we read, what we watch on the screens, and then the quality of the nutrition that goes in our body too.
And that's very important. And again, if you're a plant-based eater, cook the carbs well, cook the plants well, add fat, right? If you're a vegan, I'm sorry, a vegetarian or Mediterranean or anyone that eats some animal products, you want to make sure you add more fat. Your fat content to carb protein is 1 to 1. So proteins, amino acids, and carbohydrates, sugars should be 50% of your nutrition or less. And fat should be 50% or more. Okay. And so if you're a vegan, it's coconut oil, coconut fat, hemp seed oils, olive oil, and you want to cook your plants well. You want to minimize variety in spices. Like, I'm sorry, you can't have 5 partners in a husband or wife, or girlfriend or boyfriend. It's not good, right? See, everyone thinks, well, I'm taking all this birth control pill. I have sex with everyone. Sex is not an amusement park endeavor. It's a temple endeavor. You want to be honoring the person you're having a relationship with, right? It's not like a one night stand. It should be a lifetime plan of caring for you and your partner. That's really the spiritual, really the way of the warrior.
Yeah, I love that. And that message, I think, has been mixed as well, hasn't it, over the years as well?
Right, right. I mean, people are looking for, better sex, better erections, and there's a lot of sexual dysfunction for all of us, which is secondary to a plant-based, low animal fat diet and 3 to 6 meals a day and adding drugs, alcohol. But yeah, I think that's really important that people, first, this idea of loneliness. Loneliness could be the most powerful thing you have in the universe if it's pushing you in order to begin to read, to listen, to watch blogs like what you're doing, inspiring books, Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle is the Way. There's so many books that I'm infinitely reading, but I only did that because of loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
I felt lonely. I felt depressed. I felt left out. But God gifted me something in that time to reflect internally, right? Go to the desert, 40 days and 40 nights in the desert, right? That's what we all need to find. And so suffering is strengthening. So you can wallow in your misery, but if the wallowing in your misery isn't pushing you to master something new and different, it's only taking you down. And in my opinion, again, back to the plants. If you look at Georgia Ede and Christopher Palmer, MD, talking about how plant-based diets damage the mitochondria, damage your brain. So depression, anxiety, suicide, criminality is all secondary to a plant-based low animal fat diet. So you have to think about your psyche, your mind is just another organ system that's damaged by the incorrect diet for a human being.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. I'm sure lots of people listening are thinking, can you try this?
Again, it's like, well, I don't eat meat. Well, okay, but you can do keto or paleo to start.
Mm-hmm.
Add the fat and fast. 1 meal a day is my standard. I rarely eat more than 1 meal a day, and I often do 1 meal every 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And twice a year, I do a 5 to 7 day fast.
Yeah, I did a 7-day fast a couple of months ago, and it was incredible because for the first 4 days, I didn't feel hungry. I just kept having these triggers where I thought, oh, it's 12 o'clock. I should eat lunch. But I recognized what it was. I was like, that isn't hunger. That is just society. That's something telling me I'm supposed to eat. And it wasn't until day 4 where I genuinely felt hunger for the first time. It was quite incredible.
It is quite amazing. And remember, God is within all of us. We are the gods. We are the creator of our reality. And again, if it's a good, bad one, easy, hard one, it's all our creation. 3 Magic Words by U.S. Anderson, and I Am God. So So the bell, right? The Pavlov's dog, which is like, oh, it's time to do this or that. It's ingrained in our training, and often we blame others, and I just never blame anyone else, but take full responsibility for everything in your life, right? Don't blame your parents, your professor, the priest, or anyone else. Take responsibility for where you're at, and then take responsibility for where you want to be at.
Yeah.
And then do the work. And again, the blogging, the reading, the videos, and all of this stuff are magical. But then, so you're listening and learning, but now you got to be the doer. And through the doing of life, you begin to become the teacher, because that's where you want to get to, right? We're all lifelong leaders, learners, and lifelong teachers, and all that. It's sort of the yin and the yang of our lives. We learn, we teach, we learn, we teach, and keep at it. Never give up. That's something that, the mind, again, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, Mediterranean, the 3 to 6 day meals a day, the mind overcomes all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And you said something similar earlier, but our perception, is what creates our reality, isn't it? So what we believe becomes true. So, and the things that happen around us are neither good or bad. It's what we assign to it that makes it good or bad. And the classic example that I always think of is, if it's raining outside, it's very easy to be like, oh no, can't go out, it's awful, what a terrible day. But next door, there's a farmer going, yes, it's raining, I needed this. So an event is neither good or bad, but we assign it good or bad intentions, I guess. But it's good just to look at it objectively and say, it is what it is. Where do I want to get to, though? Do I want to be the teacher or the student? What's right in my life right now?
So what if it's all good all the time?
That sounds good.
I mean, that's what God sort of gave us, our capabilities of the choice of what we think of the thing, which changes the thing. And so the vibrational energy of the universe is created in each and every one of our minds, right? Each of us is a unique, beautiful entity of the universe, and we create our universe. So that is really the magic. When I went from a scientist, a factual data driven human, and then I found out the deities of the spirit and faith of life, it changed my life as a physician. So I don't look at science as if, oh, like, well, that's absolutely right. I think, wow, that's interesting. That may be amazing. What can we do to use that in a way? Or maybe we can use it in some other way and realize that it's, again, as you said, it's neither good nor bad, except we make it so. And so why don't we make it all great and grand? And that's the magic of the universe.
Yeah. It's a lesson or something in there, isn't it? It doesn't have to be bad. It's something you can learn from, and therefore it becomes something good.
Right. Learn and lift us up because of the pieces of the puzzle, stumbling blocks to stepping stones. And there are infinite quotes in the universe, and I'm always looking at the positive ones. And that's the magic and amazing part of the universe we live in. And that's why you can't just focus on food. You have to focus on faith, food, fitness. And I do some resistance work. I like to bike ride. I call them get-ups, right? Sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, and get-ups. So get up. The best thing you could do is get up. Get off just every day. Get up in the morning, get up and out, go do something. And if just moving, right? Go for that walk, even if it's around the house, walk, right? 20 laps. You begin the flow of the energy and motion. The muscles, see, as the muscles move, you begin to open up the vessels, and the oxygen's delivered to those cells, and the cells are waking up. Remember, they've been sleeping all night, right? They've been resting. And now you're opening them up, and the oxygen's flowing and the nutrition's flowing. And then the brain opens up a little bit more because you're beginning to see things. Zach Bitter, motion is motivating. And so I don't call it exercise. I just call it motion of life, right? Creativity.
Yeah.
And you have to lift something heavy to build your muscles. You have to do something hard to create something that everyone goes, wow, that's amazing. And you saw, was it easy?
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. So you've got faith, food, and fitness. So in faith, you've got meditation, mindfulness, prayer, positivity. So have you got a structure for that? Is it something you try and do every day?
I practice it infinite times a day, but I start in the morning as I'm beginning to sort of notice that I'm waking up. And I begin to go through my gratitude. Thank you, God, Lord, Creator, for this day, for all the people in my life, all the people in my life, those that I've labeled good and bad, right or wrong, easy and hard. I go through the gratitude for all of that and for whatever my endeavors are in the day or my life. And thank you, God, Lord, for this, that, and the other thing, for my work, for my child, my family, my partner, my ex-wife, everyone. And that's my standard habit. And then I'm either doing a bike ride, weightlifting, cold water work, or sometimes I get up and go out to my hot tub and at 3 in the morning and just look at the stars. And I listen to uh, let's see, Neville Goddard or Robin Sharma. Listen to something that's going to inspire me, or I read it. And then
Yeah.
I usually in my car on the way to work by 3:30 to 4:30. I'm live at 5 a.m. every day. And Robin Sharma and the 5 a.m. Club had sort of inspired me to do that because I'm an early bird.
Yeah.
And then I start work at 6 a.m. I start talking to patients locally or globally, usually either just a straight phone call or a video chat. But then I take 1 to 3 5 to 10 minute naps a day,
Hmm.
and it's my meditation. I'll lay down for 5 to 10 minutes, and I go through my gratitude. I close my eyes, and but it's that same visualization. See, sleep is the subconscious work, right? You have your conscious and subconscious. You want to do the work 24/7, 365, and you can do that. And I often will go to sleep, and I'll think about the dream I'm going to have,
Yeah.
the magic I'm going to create. It's all there, and we can all of us humans can work it, and we're all have the DNA and the talent and the genes built into us as a human being. And we judge not lest he be judged, right? Comparison is the enemy of joy, something like that. Or
Yeah.
it's right. You gotta look at everything. And so I do that 1 to 3 times a day, and I do my fatty meat meal every evening at about 5 to 7 o'clock. um, and usually I'm listening or reading something in the evening, or I do pottery and painting, so I work to do that on a regular basis, and then I go to sleep by 9, and usually it's reading the Bible, a Bible, Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Old Testament. Uh,
Yeah.
been reading those, and um, that's kind of my daily habit.
Sounds pretty peaceful and idyllic. The food though, that's you mentioned red fatty meat is your daily go-to, and I've seen your post on Instagram, and there's always a healthy amount of butter on there as well. Um, but do you eat any other red meats as well? Like, do you eat game meats, or is it just beef?
Well, I'm not a hunter, although I am a hunter. We're all hunters in the universe, right? And I occasionally, maybe rarely eat lamb. I love lamb, but I just maybe rarely chicken wings or thighs. But I'm a boring guy.
That does not sound true.
Well. So narrow as the arrow will hit the target, right? Variety in spice is harmful technically. So when I use the words and the phrases, it's kind of just to line up an idea that for me, beef is easily accessible. It's again, you can buy it expensive or inexpensive. You can buy it fatty or lean. Lean meat is not good for us. There's something called protein poisoning or rabbit starvation, which is not good. And so I stick typically to fatty red meat. My favorite purveyor of meat is Snake River Farms, but there's so many great local and distant producers of great, whether it's organic or it's grass fed or grain finished or grass finished. There's amazing stuff. I love duck liver. I love bacon, pork belly, beef belly, uncured, by the way. And I love eggs and cream and butter. And I make an ice cream. That's sort of my, there's nothing better than a ribeye steak and salt and butter and maybe some blue cheese and Kiltz's ice cream, which is cream, eggs, a little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla, bean, and occasionally a little bit of white cane sugar.
Ah, okay.
Now, well, that sounds bad for you. You can never do that. Well, look, we're you're a carnivore, you can never touch that. Listen, we're human beings. We're on an amazing, beautiful journey. I fly airplanes, I snowboard, I drive cars, and I walk across the street. Those are all dangerous things for us, are they not? Right? We breathe the air, we drink the liquids and eat the food. So we're on a joyful, creative journey, and a little bit of spice and a little bit of the amusement park is okay.
Yeah.
I love pizza, pasta, bread, yogurt, milk, salads, and things like that. But, if I'm going to, I minimize all those other things. I do a blue cheese stuffed olive martini with extra filthy, dirty olive juice from time to time, once a month. And I minimize it. I rarely drink much more than a few sips. But I'm not saying like that's the deadly thing. It's not. It's the habit of frequency. Except if it causes an anaphylactic reaction or you get high and drunk and you do something that is dangerous that you shouldn't be doing, like driving or flying an airplane. Those are not good things.
Yeah, 100%. I guess if we're thinking, why is a carnivore diet good for us? And we've got to hark back to our Paleolithic ancestors. They presumably, when it was whatever came in front of them, so maybe they ate a mastodon or a deer or whatever. So there would have been some variety, but what you're saying is that was still going to be a carnivore sort of based diet.
I don't have any idea what we ate 10,000, 100,000 years ago. I mean, we're making it up. It's a great story. Okay. So even being a Paleolithic animal or a whatever it is, these are our great human stories based on our observations of what we think it was. Okay. But I suffered ADHD, OCD, dyslexia, depression, anxiety. I had arthritis, psoriasis, kidney stones, migraines. I take care of people that are infertile. I see cancer and every disease you can imagine. Carnivore is the cure. Plants are the cause. Okay. Now we can argue and fight because that's the nature of human beings. We're pigs that we like the mud. That's the nature of humanity. We're omnivores. All right. We are omnivores. Your liver is built to convert sugars and amino acids to fat via insulin. See, insulin's job is to convert amino acids and simple sugars to fat in the liver. The liver's job is to make fat. Occam's razor. Simple answer is the one. All right. Okay. So then why is carnivore so good? Because it removes the plant toxins. Fat. See, you must be able to make fat or you die. See, the majority of people around the globe do not eat fat. They eat a plant-based, lean meat diet.
Yeah.
What's that?
High sugar.
High plant diet. So, see, because when you say sugar, what do people think of?
Well, processed sugar. Yeah.
That's correct. They don't understand that your body, there's only sugars, amino acids, and fatty acids. Broccoli, asparagus, kale, potatoes, tomatoes, peppers. Your brain, your body is like, okay, sugar, amino acids, liver, make fat, lymphatics. That's where it's at. And so again, we have such a complicated story because we've been taught a complicated story. Oh, it's really complicated. I'm a doctor and you're the patient. Just listen to me and do as I said. Here's a drug, here's a dissection, and eat a plant-based diet, and I'll see you next month. Oh boy, it doesn't look good. Here's another drug, dissection. You're just not eating enough plants. You got to eliminate red meat. It'll kill you. And there we go. We're down the it's like, well, what's the cause of most disease? You go to the doctor and they go, you're just unlucky. Oh, you got bad genes. We don't know. I'm sorry. Plant-based low animal fat diet and eating like a grazing animal instead of like a carnivore animal. That's the cause of disease.
Powerful.
It's simple. But again, so as a doctor, my job is to help people be healthy, right? Well, if I see a patient every half an hour or 15 minutes, I can only see so many. But if I can share this magic, you don't even need to pay me a dime for this. That's the amazing part of this story, right? We're sharing something that everyone, go to drkiltz.com and look at my website and read my stuff. It's for free. Okay, and you need to pay for some internet connection potentially, but that's an investment into your life. And the most important thing in life is to go to work every day. Go to work and love and enjoy work, right?
Mm-hmm.
50,000 years ago, if you didn't go hunting or gathering, you were dead. Okay, go hunting and gathering. Work is hunting and gathering. It's the best 4-letter word I've ever lived. And you know the best way to make money is go to work every day. It's like, everyone's looking like, well, I got to make $1 billion in 5 years, and so I can retire. What? Sit on the beach, watch TV, or complain about the world? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you hear so many people, don't you? And their health deteriorates rapidly when they retire. And I think if you look at the blue zones in the world as well, one of the things they have in common is this sense of community where they work together. They're active in the community. So it's super powerful.
And working is taking care of your friends, your family, your community. It's hunting and gathering. It's preparing. My sense is, again, if you're a Mediterranean eater, but again, it's not meant to eat 3 to 6 meals a day. Enjoy 1 meal a day. Add the fat. We used to eat a lot of fat. Like everyone's afraid of fat.
Yeah.
Fat is the fuel. Fat reduces inflammation. Without fat, you would not exist. Every cell of your body is made of fat. Your hormones are made of fat. Like, we're fat phobic.
But it was drilled into us, wasn't it?
It is drilled. Oh, yes.
Like, it's scary. Don't eat fat. It causes cardiac arrest and all sorts of problems.
Ross, this is magic information for every human being on this universe, alive today or will be alive one day in the future. We are carnivores. Eat the fatty meat. Use the plants to feed the meat. And eat the meat. But you must eat the fat. And if you're getting fat, it's because your body says a famine is coming, whether it's war, pestilence, disease, or pregnancy. See, many animals hibernate during their pregnancy.
Wow.
Hyperemesis of pregnancy, your body is saying, do not put that in this body. Miscarriage, chromosomal abnormalities, prematurity, faulty labor and delivery requiring a rise in C-sections. Maternal fetal death is on the rise. Mortality is on the rise because of the false message that the dictators of the world, the 5%ers, they want you to be a domestic animal. You are a lion type animal. You are individually capable of doing everything and anything in this universe. That's the part we all need to recognize, is that there's nothing wrong with us. Oh, I can't do that, or I'm hurt, or whatever, I got diabetes, I got cancer, or I lost a leg. You're alive. Mm-hmm. Your brain is magic. Read Helen Keller's story. It's magic. There's so many people that are disabled, but it's our thinking that has been derailed. And that's why the diet and the readings and writings and the poetry and the music and the magic of what you're sharing and others are sharing, that is helping all of us. That's why blogging, again, I watch the news a little bit. I like Reuters. I like to listen and learn about the world, but my mind is then into prayers and visualization, how we can all come together and help those suffering in the world. and I don't live it as if it's me. I live it as if we're learning and growing and creating and helping others, because that's critical in life.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we could just chat about this all day, but I'm sure you have patience to help over there. So if we can finish off with, how do people contact you? You know, where do they reach out to you? And also, I know you have a range of nutritional supplements as well. So if people do need help, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Kiltz Health is focused on a lot of what we're sharing in the words of carnivore and keto and paleo and fasting, what you read, what you watch, what you listen to. But for those that aren't consuming organ meats, I think an organ meat or liver supplement is good for us. But again, the best way to do it is from the real stuff. But if you're not, I think adding the Kiltz Health nutritional solutions, organ meats, or liver supplements. But for those vegans, the vegetarians that don't want to touch meat, we do have a prenatal vitamin, something to help with ovarian function for men and women. Prenatal vitamins, which I think can be important for those that haven't gotten onto the ketovore, carnivore, and fasting and eating, utilizing the organ meats. If you go to drkiltz.com, and we also have something called Kiltz Mighty Tribe, KMT. It's just an organization of a community, I should say. There's no requirements. Everyone's welcome in. Just send in your email and we'll get you the link, and listen, look, watch, and share every Monday evening, 7:30 Eastern time, which is probably a later time for my European friends, but that's why I do my 5 a.m. every day. drkiltz.com, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the Mighty Tribe. We're all here sharing, and I'm a community guy. I love connections, and everyone sort of inspires me each and every day to be present, show up, get up. And so I'm always looking for people like Ross Tompkins and so many people in this world where we're learning from each other. We may not all align in the belief systems exactly, but that's okay. We're sort of moving and meandering to learn something different. And who knows where I'll be in a year, 5 years, or 50 years. I'm 67 years young. I've never felt better in my life. And I'm encouraged and inspired to learn from you and so many others every single day. And I'm blessed and grateful for you having me on today. Thank you.
Robert, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have a wonderful day, and I shall speak to you very, very soon.
I
Take
look
care.
forward to connecting and talking soon, and we'll get you on our blogs, because you guys are doing a magic, and I'm grateful, helping so many people on this journey. God bless you guys.
Love that.
Thanks. Take care.